Alright, back with more Final Fantasy V. Trying to get through this regular playthrough so I can start my 4-job fiesta. Might be able to finish it up tonight. I only have... That's probably a mistake. I should probably just attack with everyone. Because again, it's not going to pick 4 targets. I'm always hopeful that it will do so. I'm just too used to being able to do that in the original games, but not in the Pixel remasters. Interesting, it's one of the few places they send you an end game that at early game stuff that isn't upgraded. Like pretty much all of the outdoor encounters are upgraded. There aren't too many old places you revisit, of course. Well, I guess if you went there early in the game, Jackal Cave, in order to get Odin, for instance. But Bloodsword seems to be unaffected by Row as one of its properties in this, because she's doing almost 2k with it, and it's, you know, that's with Have. Should be from being halved in the back row. Yeah, nice roll, Lena. Rods in this game are so weird in the damage they deal. And I think it's pretty unique to this game, too, when you attack with a rod. Want to avoid the poison, just for the sake of not being poisoned. Oh, darn it. Oh, it's not poisonous anymore? Or is it because we have Geomancer I don't have to worry about it? That's probably the reason, actually. Now the supermassive dragon, Bahamut. Let's see, I have Bahamut left. I need to do the 3rd and 4th tablet, which I need the submarine for from the catapult. And I need to do Walsa Tower after this. That's it. And then, you know, the final, of course. Cleft of Dimension. You have broken the seal. If you can best me in battle, I shall award you my power. Let's see if he survives the approximately 30,000 damage. Okay, let's see. He doesn't absorb Holy, so let's go ahead and just do 2 Holy Blasts. Okay. About 40k hit points. Now this continent-sized dragon becomes something we can summon in narrow caves and such. I never remember where the magic lamp is, not that I really need it, that's something I'm technically missing. Whatever, get rid of these guys. Although this isn't a speedrun, and I don't normally speedrun Final Fantasy games, I've transitioned so much into a speedrunner over the past couple of years that there are some things that just make me cringe, including when they take a very fast animation like Zeninage and to make it more interesting or whatever, they slow it up and make it very specific and firing at each enemy instead of all the shots at once. It's very annoying. Okay, everything else is under the sea. We have Walsa Tower, we have History Falls, and we have the Deep Sea Trench. Or whatever they call that. Whoops. Alright. First we have to get our, find Sid and have him turn our airship into a submarine, so we will finally have the ultimate vehicle. Which means that essentially we have every vehicle back now. We had a sailing ship a couple of different times that weren't any different. We have a yellow chocobo, we have a black chocobo. They're all back and they're all accessible. Although, whether they're useful or not is another matter. Now, where is Sid? That's odd. Ah, he's stuck here. Okay, good. I came to the right area. Oh, that's what that's supposed to be. Those are wheels. The original, I've seen those and thought they were just conveyor belts the entire time in the regular, but the way they moved Sid around makes me realize that those are like gears turning. Okay. Oh, my head's spinning. Grandpa, you okay? I think I'm gonna be sick, but first the good news. We discovered some long-lost engineering techniques in an old book. It means we can upgrade the airship with submarine functionality. Really? Yes, convenient, just what we need. Of course, nothing is possible for me, and he just happened to find that. Come on, Mid. Yeah. Also, again, how did Mid get down here when there's, no way to access this except with, you know, the airship? Again, something that comes up a lot in especially old JRPGs that have travel restricted by things like this, but FF5 just always seems to have more of them than any other. Shouldn't take much longer. Wow, you two really work hard. Grandpa blames himself for the world having ended up like this. But it's not like there's anything he could have done. I know that. I think deep down he knows it too. From now on, he's determined to see his inventions used for peace. And that should do it. Once you're in the water, press the confirm button and then the down arrow. The undersea world is yours to explore. Thanks for everything, guys. Not that you need the sailing vessel at all when you can fly, but if you really want it. Ronnie, I can't fight for beans. In fact, about all I'm good at is modifying machinery. Even so, I've tried to do everything I can to help you out. The rest is in your hands. That's the last thing, pretty much the last time we'll see Sid and Mid until the epilogue. Come on, guys. We can travel underwater now, right? Aye, now we can search for the tablet that's underneath the waves. As well as History Falls, which they kind of low-key... Mid, take good care of your grandpa. You guys take care too. They could have really done more with the two kids bonding over their grandpas. But you know, poor Galoof, totally forgotten. No point in dawdling, let's go! So yeah, we have an airship that can become a sailing ship, not that you need it, it's useless, and become a submarine, which is necessary. And we have a... So it's those three vehicles all in one, plus we have our yellow chocobo back. And we can go around the world with it. And we have our black chocobo. That they actually made necessary, amazingly. In order to, if you're trying to 100% all the quests / special areas, spells, whatever. Aha! Now, is this it? Or did I find something else? Nope, this looks like it's something else. Why don't you hear me knowledge? Okay. Alright, wisdom for the achievement hunter, I guess. I already missed some chests, so I don't care. Oh, that's just the sleeping room. What do they call that? Okay, question mark, question mark, question mark. Excellent. Alright, perhaps in here, because this is where Karnak was originally. No? It's staggering how little I remember of the back half of the game. How about this inland sea? I actually thought it would be pretty easy to find, you know, something like a great big volcano very clearly standing out, waving a large sign saying, hey, Great Sea Trench here. Let's see, Wolsey Tower is going to be around here, I bet. Because this is the vanished location of Wall, so it would be in this section right here. Whoops. Okay, out there. Which you normally you'd have to fly to anyway, so it's not going to be in this area. Doesn't show the sunken town there, but figured I had a map handy that would show it. Okay, roughly here-ish. And gargoyles again. Every time. There it goes. Within the ocean floor, blah blah blah. Yeah, sorry, we know about that. Unknown. First appearance of the Pokemon. They have really solid defense. Let's do a quick elemental survey. Everything looks to be the same. Wonder if that missed because of my ribbon. Let's play around with some abilities, though your magic power isn't all that great. Yeah, let's leave you on Zeninage. I'll swap back to time magic when it's time to go, but for these basic battles, it looks like just tossing out some elemental things might be easiest. Weak to water, it would appear. Wasn't paying much attention, the bridge was already there. Doesn't matter since I can go across with Geomancer abilities. Yeah, that just goes all the way around. That's another way you can go. Okay, not the one. Not the one. If I want that chest, I'm going to have to go back up. It's a fire ring. I don't really need it, though. Maybe I'll skip it. It's not like I've been annoyed by the fact that they've been equipping the wrong things anyway, so... Seriously still alive? Are they a sap on from something? Dragon Fang, like whatever. Sildra seems to guaranteed kill with it, but it is expensive, so... Now, if I want to take him out fast, it's going to have to be Sildra. It looks like Sildra and a scroll of some sort. Not like I don't have 99 ethers, though, so... Still alive. Yeah, I don't need that either. Oh, these guys are loaded with hit points. Incredible amount of HP on these ones. Unless I really haven't been paying attention, missed the fact that the scrolls are doing, like, nothing. It's like 1k from the... or 2k from the scroll, and then 4k from Sildra. And if they don't roll max on both of those, it doesn't kill. Covered in gummy liquid did nothing because I have Hermes sandals on. Take that, wench. I didn't hit. No idea what's doing what, and I can't see because it doesn't show enough of the map. These are some of the worst kinds of, how to go back to Mirage Village and pick up some throwing scrolls for the final dungeon. They'd be among the most useful. Useful ways to clear out enemies quickly. Kaiser Neckel is probably not entirely necessary, but it's an item. Is it a... Okay, it is. Ah, 5 attack, a lot of defense. Eh. Okay, so I hit 3 switches. Why didn't that door open? Fortunately, the map I have here has no help on which switches I'm supposed to hit and when. Yeah, these are the worst kind of puzzles, quote-unquote. When you just have no clue what to do. It's in a monster-infested area. You're supposed to go back and check things. Am I fine with what I've got here? It's another group of elemental ensemble bosses who are packed with all sorts of different vulnerabilities, so easiest thing to do. Oink, oink! Exdeath sent us, oink! Told us to kill you, oink, oink! Orders, you know, nothing personal, oink! Oink, oink, oink! Hey, you pig people. Let's start the pig war. Something is written on the tablet. You see the magic sealed in the magma flow. Meteor! So now I have the ultimate time magic spell. Meteor is kinda good, kinda bad. For as high level and powered up as I am, it's probably a less powerful spell. Because of the fact that it doesn't do damage based on your level or your magic power. It's determined entirely by the enemy's magic defense and their two things here. Oh, because the Kingdom of the Dwarves is there with it. Alright. Airship's faster, so this is probably a little bit faster. Despite the transitions. Maybe it isn't all that faster. I forgot that this is a slow airship. Second slowest one in the series, probably, next to the one in Final Fantasy IV Interlude. Don't have that anymore, that's right. Let's go back to summon magic. Throw. Okay. Protected by water beyond its falling torrents, one tablet rests. Yes. Figured. Which means that some Alright, the problem with these graphics is that they're a little bit on the subtle side. Yay for vampire bats. Hoping I'd kill in one rapid fire. Shouldn't have used a second though. Might be necessary for accuracy though, if that, like its other models, is actually... Yeah, another ether I can't hold any more of. Let's see. Empty these. Oh gosh, darn this stupid area, especially moving at high speed again. Doesn't have that much evasion. What have we got there? Air Lancet. Really don't care about an Air Lancet. Oh, our first appearance of Tonberries in the series. Let's see if you survive a rapid fire. Yes, you do. Oops. Your turn. Wow, it moves forward fast. Looking more at maps than paying attention to it might be a mistake. Don't tell me it's still going after this. Okay, there we go. Holy is so ridiculously cheap in this game. Alright, another overly complicated dungeon. That might be worth grabbing. Looks like that's the perfect place to go. That I don't care about. Rune Blade. Alright, its attack power is really low. A sword that uses MP to perform critical hits. Oh, it doesn't give a bonus to magic or anything. Disappointing. Like, it's essentially just like the FF6 Rune Edge, but not everything is exactly like its FF6 counterpart, so... Aqua Gel. FF5 monsters, man, they're so weird and interesting. Not to mention animated coral. That's pretty out there too, let's be honest. Okay, Phoenix Down don't need, Wall Ring don't really need. I ought to try and get the 12k. I also want to get that, but that's a little ways away. I'm surprised with all the abilities you get in this game, you don't get anything that lowers or increases the number of encounters. Really like one of those. Especially since I'm on Brave Blade cannot run mode. That guy's actually kind of scary. I have it, why not use it? Alright, J is Artemis, the Artemis bow. I really don't need the Artemis bow, but I'm gonna grab it anyway. Oh boy, it's our favorite. Attack 111 is all it has. But if you need to do back row damage, it can do a decent amount. Alright, so 7 up there leads to K, which is the Enchanter, whatever that is. Avoid the pitfall. We can see that because of our handy handy Geomancer abilities. Enhancer. That a very high magic sword. It's only magic plus 3 though, it's higher attack power. 102 though, which is actually more than the Defender. I'll take it. Giving her a 53 magic also means that she'll do even more damage with her throws. Seriously, they have like 100 hit points each. Really surprised that I ran into another sword before. I guess the Ragnarok in the final dungeon that Shinryu has is going to be pretty good too. Wow, those bats don't have much HP at all. Another Aegis shield. Double axe. I like picking up like regular weapons and such. Titan's axe. That's the actual name. Probably naturally two-handed and very strong. $91 is all. Can be two-handed. That's pretty disappointing. And what's this one here? A magic shuriken, Kuma shuriken. $29.60, nice damage. Okay, wait, now how do I get down? Do I have to jump in one of these holes? Looks like it. Fourth tablet. That tablet, hand it over to me! Once Lord Exdeath gains the power of the void, he'll create a world just for us monsters. I won't let you interfere. We don't even get to see his combat sprite, because out of nowhere comes Leviathan, who disposes of this lackey and then says, "Fight me if you want my power instead." The monster was destroyed by Leviathan. Ooh. Powered by water, strong enough to wash away all sin and make all things pure, but only to those with the strength to fight the void will I award this power. He probably doesn't have that many hit points. With that alone, it's probably likely to kill him with this rapid fire before Ferris even gets to demonstrate the absurd damage she would do. Because that's close to 36k. Still alive? I'll let Ferris finish him. I want to see how much damage this does. Quite a multiplier. So roughly 60k. Spellblade is pretty awesome. It doesn't actually do anything to enchant the weapons if you're not using it against a weakness. It doesn't increase battle power at all. But especially the higher level ones do a lot more damage once they... Didn't even need to use exit because of that. Teleport. Okay, now it's the Sunken Walls Tower. Yeah, as I thought, it's over there. It probably looks the same as the regular tower, which should not be very hard to climb down, but especially because it's on a time limit, I'm somewhat neurotic about it. Would definitely, before I mess with it, I should get some more throwing items and try to use just very quick kill all enemy moves. Forgot that this was here, but it's convenient. I wonder if it's more there for the final dungeon when you come through here, since it is literally a copy of this place, but frozen in time. Not even, you know, a copy, as it were, kind of thing. Yeah, I can actually max out on these, can't I, pretty easily. Buying our way to victory, the Final Fantasy V way. Let me get a few of these, too, for... kind of silly because I just do so much damage. Yeah, I'm not going to buy any. Do so much damage with rapid fire against a single target, it's kind of pointless to get throwing shuriken. Even Fuma shuriken. He won't have as much magic since he hasn't mastered any magic classes, but I'll go ahead and put throw on him as well. Let's go ahead and put summoner on both of these two so that we can do really quick summons that'll hopefully guaranteed kill everything. Very, very afraid of things with time limits. Luckily, I think, from what I've observed with Pixel Remaster, the way it handles clocks, I can at the very least cheese out the end of the go-go fight, for lack of a better word for the encounter. And not allow any time to pass while the majority of his dialogue plays. Hold my breath, but only for about 7 minutes. Lovely. Let's go drama. Need to wait trick. Okay, that's immune to electricity. Lovely. Immune to almost everything, my word. Okay, that's a bad fight. Hope I don't get too many more of those. Hold down you. Hopefully I might be able to teleport out too. I don't know. We'll find out. But it's that one. Okay. Spare no expense. Okay, that absorbs everything. Must be a, that thing must be one of these stupid whatchamacallits. Actually, yeah, let's, pretty cool Mega Flare effect. Since I have no idea what these things are, I shouldn't play around with it. Is that a new chest? I wonder if I should bother to try to get it. I don't know if that's a new chest or one I forgot to get the first time I played through. Taken the first 2 acts, but now the amazing power of this crystal shard is within my competent grasp. Turn back and be gone. I shan't allow you to take it. Will you heed my warning? Just this, then let the curtain rise. The beast is no soul of mimicry. The way you beat him is to mimic him. Since he has done nothing, you mimic nothing. Therefore, you do nothing perfectly. Perfectly nothing perfectly. Yeah, it's clever. Because it's on a time, I'm sorry, I'm not reading the dialogue regular. It's really painful. It takes about a minute of waiting before he decides you've done nothing perfectly. Come on. Warrior Spirit. Mime. It seems like shadows of pretty much every creature in the game have Whoops. God, seriously? Why do we hop out on that side? A chest of air to give us 7 more minutes. Great. Okay. That's why we didn't see it before, I guess. Or it became new. Alright, it refreshes us to 7 is actually what it does. It doesn't add. Alright. Can I warp out of here, or do they not allow you to be that cheeky? Ha! Makes this whole ordeal quite a bit less. That's it. I'll go ahead and unleash the tablets now, and there are a few things I'm missing, but I've got all the stuff I really want. So yeah, we'll do it after coming through here, because we're going to take damage anyway. Where are you, castle? Up here. This is the one, up here. Seems he's weak to holy, which makes sense. Alright, so I'm just going to grab everything. Wish they had ultimate armor like paladin shields and adamant armor from the previous and next game. That'd be a lot more useful than some of these weapons once you're a freelancer. Of course, they want you to have a not have to be a freelancer and let you be able to use a weapon of your favorite job. Only took about an hour to clear all 3 of those. I'm a little surprised. Okay, now. The way most of these weapons work, you really don't need any of them except for the absolutely if you're not using that class, most of these weapons are useless to you. The katana is pretty high. Excalibur also is the strongest of them. And the Magus Rod is good because of the elemental boost, but all the rest of these are pretty... not really that worth it. Oh, and now to get the last three, I have to do the last tablet. The bow, I think, is a particularly egregious case because the bell to a degree as well, because Geomancer is so easy to get. You won't be in it for long, but the main draw of using an archer, except for, of course, and except for specifically 4-Job Fiesta, where you're forced to do it even after mastering, then, the legendary bow might be useful to your archer and stuff like that, but otherwise... the main draw of doing archer in the first place is to get rapid fire, and an archer with a bow and rapid fire will certainly do a lot of damage, but you'll do even more damage if you go to a class with higher attack power and a stronger weapon. The Rune Axe is another particularly egregious case of bad weaponry, since it's a magic boosting axe, which doesn't do a whole lot for berserkers overall. Can't remember what, I think if you dual wield it with like the Gaia Hammer or something, maybe it'll help you out, but it would actually be better magic-wise if you're relying on that to get something out. There's just so many missing problems with the whole idea. So let's see. I could get another magic power by putting on the Aegis Shield, even though it's a lot less defense than the Flame Shield and doesn't absorb fire. But it also blocks magic attacks, which I really like. So Holy Lance is 109, Strength 3, so that's probably the second best. I should swap out the one katana for that. This is the Ninja Dagger, which at the very least can be dual wielded with the Assassin Dagger, though it's not as strong, but it has a chance to instant kill. The Fire Lash is a one-handed from the back row, which is kind of cool, but again, other than the Beast Tamer, nobody can use it. Rune Axe is only 71 with magic plus 3 is all. Pretty disappointing. Sage's Staff strengthens holy magic and casts rays when used, which is pretty sad. I mean, I could throw that on for her if I'm using strictly white magic, because the Wizard Rod is boosting regular elements. It doesn't boost holy, but that will if you're trying to do holy damage, but that's the only reason for it. The Wonder Wand I like, because that's actually a callback to one of the original D&D magic items that's really funny. The Wand of Wonder had a random effect when you use it. Here they don't make it quite as cool because it specifically just does a random regular spell, but it would do anything from beneficial to baneful to wild and random and pointless, like flocks of butterflies and such. It's a hilarious weapon. Not quite as cool. So Apollo's Harp, was that the one I just got? Yeah, what does it do exactly? Effective against dragons and the undead, but with attack plus 45, I don't know. If it's like it, a lot of the vulnerabilities in this game do up to 8 times, so I guess maybe if it does 8 times damage to dragons and the undead, that makes it kind of cool. Strengthens earth magic from the Gaia Bell, and that's the best part of it, is all. And Yoichi's bow that we got is strength plus 3 and agility plus 3, but it's so it's probably better than the Artemis bow since it's just 111. Although it's effective against magic beasts, too, so they're a toss-up. So only a handful of them are actually really good. I'm going to go ahead and go with Holy Lance, because it is slightly stronger, increases my strength as well, which is great. And we're ready, although I'm actually going to be, among other things... Hello, Shield Dragon friend. He's probably going to flee before we actually kill him, which is fine. That doesn't lower my Brave Blade damage because I'm not the one running. It's extremely random damage. Yeah. And there's its flee. We're not going to be getting any more experience from here on out either, because I believe in the Cleft of Dimension, no monsters grant experience. I'm not going to bother to sell off everything I have, even my accessories, because I'm kind of considering getting water rings to deal with Shinryu, because he starts out with water attacks, if I remember right, but I think I'm powerful enough that I don't need to worry about it. I could always, I believe, teleport out and go get them if I really need to, even though it'll be a pain. But I think I should just be strong enough to brute force him pretty well with non-elemental stuff. Ferris with Spellblade and Flare and 8 times attacks like that is going to be pretty outrageous. Oh, I need to go into a place to be able to use the free heal here, so it's not as... Yeah, that's right. No wonder I was never getting it. I was thinking about doing it and then forgot, and whatever. Okay, so it's the Cleft of Dimension right here over the library. Is that the place we used to enter it? Where is a good spot to rest? I guess this town. Probably a little longer than just taking an inn. It's not like I need the 10 gold. Eight potions. Oops. Oh no! No! I didn't mean to step there and trigger it. I really should have just taken a nap. I remember it originally giving you 8 potions every time you ate there. Like, there's a restriction to keep you from just farming up potions. You had to go in and leave. Maybe they decided that since people were going to do that anyway, it didn't matter. Don't have to actually land to use the menu either, but... Okay, do we have to do the one by... The little things I just don't remember. We use the one at the castle. Here's the one at the castle. Oh, right here. What's that? The rift. Can't fight it. We're being sucked in. Good. We get a free ride. Here we go. One way to look at it, I suppose. Okay, here we come in game. All right. Monsters seem to give a outrageous amount of AP and no hit points, so I'd like to finish up mastering some jobs on some of these characters. Let's see. Can Mime equip ribbons? I could give the ribbons to the others. So, yeah, so you can set 3 abilities, and you can set items to one of them if you want to, but you can also go with no items, which I haven't been using, so kind of might as well, but not at the moment. First, we're going to job switch to... like to master Blue Mage with her... Finish up Dancer. That's all I really care about. I don't even need those really, but since I got close to Dancer, I'd like to finish it, and Blue Mage will give me another learner. I also ought to do Throw, possibly. We're going to start with Zeninagi and just get rid of all our money in this way. Let's see. Summoner would master magic. I'm really close to Geomancer too. We'll do Geomancer first to get him a start, and then it'll be kind of pointless since I'm going to be going to Summoner anyway, but again, he's close to it, so I'd like to get it done. And I'm not going to be grinding, we're just going to be getting these as we go through. What does she need? She's got pretty much everything I really care about with her. Maybe I'll leave her in the dominant state, because I really don't care about Knight or Berserker. I can get her Summoner to max out her magic. That's actually what I should do. Kryl. I ought to do another physical attack just to give her more hit points and such, especially since she was focusing on blue magic. So let's just do Monk and be done with it. Oh, none of us are going to have thief abilities because of that. At the very least, I want to have vigilance, so you can summon. We're not going to have any other use for money, so we can just get rid of it with Zeninage. First boss. For 1,000 years we have been sealed within the rift. I believe the first of them attacks us here, but I could be wrong. Once Exdeath obtains the powers of the void, our new home, a world of darkness, will be born. You've been a thorn in Lord Exdeath's side for long enough. The void will be your burial ground. Bwahahaha. And all that. I probably ought to swap out if these things are just encounters based on the area we're in. And wait until I'm actually in the rift, because it could be in the rift itself. Yeah, all these areas. 4 is okay, but not what I'm looking for. Okay, we have to go back for now. A little bit ahead of myself, but let's go mine. Then I can do dual cast. White magic and summon. I'm going to give you the blood sword. Oh, mine can't equip swords, so that's so much for that idea. What's the next best magic item? Maybe just Sage's Staff for the holy boost. I wonder if that also boosts the power of her. Or maybe the Wonder Wand. Interesting that she does get the nice thing there. Let's circle it. Who has the white robe on? Probably Ferris. Let's go back to our regular jobs for now. We'll have him continue to Zeninage his way through most of the battles. Seriously. White robe? No way. Mirage vest. They can't wear ribbons, so gonna have to throw it on you instead. Which I only found 2 of the ribbons. I forgot to look for the other 2. Can't remember where they are. Too bad. Now, should I go ahead and give her, like, throw to clear the normal enemies, or shall I give her Zeninagi for now, and then hopefully I'll remember to swap back before the main thing. So let's see. Brave Blade, Enhancer. Masamune would do more damage, but slightly. But that can be enchanted, so I think that that's stronger in the long run on the battles that'll really matter. Okay, you just remove all. You get the white robe. Black robe. Where's the other circlet? I thought I had at least one more circlet. No? So I guess you get either crown. I guess I'll take Lamia's tiara. Magus Rod. Aegis Shield. Hermes Sandals. Okay. This'll do for now. Then once I see I start getting a lot of APB, I can swap out to the things I want to master. Ether, probably just going to be mostly held items in here. Elixirs are nice. Dark matter in case I ever decide to start doing mixes. Swapping to Mime did the same thing. Their base magic isn't actually that good. The base MP, so doesn't quite hit everyone, but it's the most useful one I can do for auto. Another blood sword. One disadvantage with the mine casters is that they don't have access to all the weapons and equipment, so I can't equip ribbons, I can't equip the blood swords, which are really nice for +5 magic, my word. Of course, these will do, so. And yeah, here we are in Mirage Village. And yes, that pot works good. My MP is back. Very excellent. There's the Black Chocobo frozen in time. Proof that it isn't using the exact same map, it's a copy-paste. They have really high defense. Missed. Oh well, I'm not going to worry about it that much. Now that I'm towards the end, I'm getting kind of antsy about finishing it, so I'm not bothering to look up a map and spend time looking at it. I'm just going to burn through. I've spent enough time on this game, on this playthrough. Lilith Rod, which can be used to flirt. I don't think it's better than what I've got. Again, for many of these, the legendary weapons are not quite so legendary as I should have been paying more attention to the regular map, been forgetting about it, because it should reveal enough. I look at it to reveal enough to see secret passages and such and what they're going to be. Okay, here's the first boss. Woods are so peaceful, let you rest here for all eternity! Yeah, she isn't much of a problem. Ooh, this is about where Ultimate Weapon is, isn't it? Coral Ring, that's one to have. It will absorb water if I need to use it. What I ought to do is look up Omega Weapon. Okay, he's weak to lightning, so Thunderblade Lightning is what I need to do, and then just own him with that, and it should be easy. He has automatic Reflect and Shell, so otherwise magic doesn't work well on him. I'm going to use a tent just to get it out of my inventory. And then use up cottages. Oh, that's him. He doesn't move very much. Abilities, Ferris. You're going to be the one who dominates for us. Everybody else, you're kind of fine for this battle. He absorbs Holy. That's nice. Okay, he's useless. Zeninagi for the little damage it's going to do. Let's see, he has Shell on, so that's the best for... Nope, totally absorbed by his magic defense. Mega Flare should inflict something. A little bit. The shell effect halves regardless. I can't remember if this Bahamut penetrates magic defense or not. I don't think it does, based on how little damage it's doing. He should have a ribbon on, which should make him immune to everything. Well, took care of him. Since he's weak to lightning, the one thing you really want to do is rapid fire Spellblade combo. The Omega Badge, which I think is nothing but a bragging rights for having killed Omega. Well, you don't have to make that much fuss about it. Gives me a achievement as well. Wonderful. Back to Zeninage for the random encounter fights. Let's go ahead and use another cottage since it's right here. I spent a lot of mana. The Arise was mostly just in case I got attacked again, so I'd have the full party available anyway. To be honest, I never thought you'd make it this far, but no matter. Soon I shall rid you of your pitiful lives. The instant you touched this book, the dimensional switch was activated. Big mistake! So now this guy, a panda, who's the big version of the whatchamacallit, he is weak to fire, so that doesn't do much good. I do have a Fire Elemental summon, but it would still do more damage to do Mega Flare, I'm sure. Since I didn't prep Spellblade before this fight, I can't have Ferris go into Ultra Kill mode, but he isn't that strong. No idea what this is doing. 1,000-year-old book. From forth the rolling skies was loosed a vile beast devoid of soul. Omega was its name. The dragon Shinryu came upon its heels. Not even the legendary weapons 12 would subdue these evil creatures. Within the rift were the demons interred, so should they remain until eternity's end, their names to stay unspoken ere more. Okay, so let me take a look at my new Omega badge. Recognizing wisdom, strength, and courage surpassing that of the ancients. Yep. Secret of Giga Flare. When gathering power for the spell, one is rendered utterly defenseless for a moment. Casters be wary. Hinting you to a boss who uses Giga Flare going forward. It's the first instance of them saying, hey, let's do something bigger than Bahamut's Mega Flare. Messed up slightly. Adder's still on rapid fire. I didn't actually select the Zeninage. Is it worth worrying about? I really don't think so. Still got plenty of money. Apparently I have to either go open some places up or that just isn't the right way. Ah, yes, we have to do the dungeon first. Okay. Cheese him out. There are chests here, but I don't care about them that much. One of them might be a ribbon. One of the other two ribbons might be down here, but This shall be your burial ground. Yep. Azulmagia has access to all of the blue magic. And you can teach him blue magic as well. If you've learned Exploder, for instance, hilariously, you can... What happens if we mimic that? If he survives. You can actually easy cheese kill him by having a character use Exploder on him. He'll learn Exploder and use it on you. Very optional boss as well. Of course, you don't have to open this cage and fight him. But I'm kind of 100%ing the bosses in here as far as I remember. So I learned Mind Blast. If you wait long enough, he'll learn quite a few blue magics. Oh, you are rewarded with a save point. Happy to use that. Red slippers. Aha, there. 11 defense to magic defense. Prevent confusion and enhance the ability to perform sword dance. Okay. So good for dancers. Thank you, I've been locked down here for ages. Here's a reward for setting me free. Smooch. And then she goes the wrong way. Are you worth worrying about? Kind of, it seems. They really toned down the cost of spells in FF5. They only increased them a little in FF6. I guess technically this is a boss too. Not the most memorable of them. Rainbow dress, same thing. Enhances the ability to perform sword dance. So if you have the Lamia, the shoes, and the dress, you can probably do some really guaranteed sword dances. You'd leave without saying goodbye? How rude. I don't give my kiss of death to just anyone you know. Transforms into this freaky thing. Come here, I'll treat you right. Treat you to a slow death at the hands of the master of this castle. I, Halicarnassus. And he's going to try and turn us into frogs. Oh, it's you. Not going to be very effective. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to survive long enough to cast Toad on two of us, but... yep. So I'll have to cast it out of battle. Praise the sun, say the frogs. All right. That's as far as you go. Beyond here, the power of the void is contained. You shall not enter. I could have used a funny trick on him, but I'm going to obliterate him with Flare Spellblade. Okay, now we're in the actual Cleft of Dimension. Not going to bother actually swapping out my abilities. I don't want to bother with it again. Because it would only be for the last couple of fights, really. I still have Spellblade on. I need to change that. How unfair. The counter meteor with meteor, that's inconvenient. They counter all spells with meteor. Wowza. Have at thee, vile beast! Take this! Rah! Take this! Do I have to deal a certain amount of damage? Wait a minute, Ronnie? Sounds, this is no beach, just Ronnie. You should have said something. I would like it here, you know? Creepy monsters lurk around every corner and I can't find the way out. Gripes, I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown. Anyway, how'd you get here? Or rather, how do you get out of here? Oh, just go that way. I see, let us egress post-haste. When we're out of here, what say we have a few spectacular adventures together, just us 5? Oh yes, I forgot. You got that whole saving the world thing going on. Phooey. Well, if you make it out safely... Ha! No ifs about it. I'm certain we'll meet again. When we do, I hope you'll consider me, never mind. Haha! Hasta la bye-bye! Oh, wow. So, looks like I do want to do some jobby stuff. So it's a good thing I found one coral ring and have a couple of ice shields. Do I have enough ice shields is the question? I only have 2, so one person's likely going to go down immediately. But we can deal with that. Let's see, that's not it. Then the shuriken. And then maybe have some mix. I should have the mixes. Oh, a circlet, nice. Better defensive, less magic defense. Maybe the Lami would be better then, but eh. Okay, I've got that, and I have plenty of those too. Who do I want to make my mixer? You, I think. What does it take to learn chemist? Probably something pretty darn high. 21, mixed pharmacology. Instant death. I meant to use Zenny Nagi with her. I forgot the chat. Oh, it's undead, so it gets healed by the instant death instead. Wonderful. And that's Mix. Okay, that didn't take very long. Let's see. Dual cast, time magic, Mix. Then give you your Magus Rod, although that's not going to do a lot of good. We should give you a speed something instead. Maybe the Assassin's Dagger. Oh, that's magic +3. That's actually a better rod for her too. I thought about looking at it, but in the end went against it. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Ice Shield is fine. Honey Sandals. Black Robe. Let's go ahead and go with Lamia's Tiara for the bigger magic defense. Doesn't matter right now, as I say. She's not going to have her black magic, but go ahead and get equipped for it, because it's not making a huge difference otherwise right now. And who will we allow to survive? You, and then we'll just raise up Ferris and cast Golem with the dual casting. I have 30 elixirs. Yeah, we're good. Because that's the Shinryu chest right there. Yeah, I'm gonna do this boss battle first. Oh, that's just a chest. I was thinking that was the save point. Oh well. Crystal armor. Okay. Alright, that only does it to one person. Very unfortunate. I thought Ice Storm also absorbed water. Okay, eye drops and what is it? Dragon Fang. All right, and now Turtle Shell and Holy Water. Unfortunately... Okay, I can use a Phoenix Down with Phoenix Down. Is there one that will do... Alright, I can do a full thing, but there's nothing that hits the entire party, so... Alright, Phoenix Down plus Potion is all you need. That's pretty light. Okay, so we made it through. Could have used Quick as well to make that a little bit easier, but luckily I had the survivability. Oh, I forgot to equip my powerful flare, so I'll have to normal Zaginage. Probably don't want to worry about that. Oh, that's right. He's strong against Holy. I was going to prep that too, because I knew that that was going to be the case. I need to get other weapons. Let's see. How many more Dragon Fangs do I have? 14? Excellent. Might as well use them. Glad I started collecting them all and kept all these other things. So this isn't going to be quick, but I've got it in the bag at least. After that very scary initial. Is there damage going up? It is. Good. Okay, I need to trade out for non-holy weapons. Masamune and what's going to be the best? Probably the Defender, I believe, of these weapons I have. Nope, out of MP. Need to fill her up. Alright, got him. Okay, Ragnarok. 140. Not as good as the Brave Blade still, but very, very good. Let's go ahead and go with the Holy Lance still. And we'll go ahead and give you Excalibur. So you're still slightly stronger now. And if I give you the right abilities, you can overwrite them. Okay, let's go back to Black Magic now that we're done with that. Mix served me very well. Let's equip. I'll swap you out for the Lamia Staff. It's slightly more, Lilith Rod rather, slightly more magic. You can swap over to Hermes Sandals again. Oh yeah, back to Aegis Shield, might as well. Go ahead and give you Magus Rod for elemental power. Okay, I think we're okay now. Let's go ahead and go Lamia's Tiara. Less defense, but more magic defense, so they can survive those. Although, really. I remembered that they usually would, before doing Shinryu, grab coral rings for the battle. I didn't realize that it was kind of mandatory because the damage was that extreme. Shinryu really is a super boss. So I'll need to remember that for next time. This light will never fall into your hands. Yes, I will stop you from using the save point. Ah, ha, ha. With these barriers, I've achieved immortality. Do you really believe you can defeat me? I'm going to take that as a yes. My barriers of invincibility. You've left me with no choice. Have a taste of my true power! Whatever you say. It's all you can eat. Let's see. I think he has Reflect on, so... I think he has Shell, too, which halves the damage of Meteor. Probably the weakest Meteor in any of the games. Even though it's not super high base power, Meteor, compared to a bunch of other elemental attacks, Meteor in Final Fantasy VI, at least, is non-elemental and pierces defense and hits all enemies automatically. It's not for random damage, and it's boosted by your magic power, so as you get stronger, you'll obliterate. He's weak to Holy, apparently. Gilgamesh? Am I fashionably late to the party? Why, hello there! Surprised to see me? Ha, if I'd left you in the lurch, I'd look like a jerk for all of history, as if I'd let that happen. You've a big mouth. If you're so eager to fight, then you can be the first to die! Whoops, sorry, Gilgamesh. Already got this prepped. Now, if I had steel, you could steal a Genji shield or something from him, Genji armor. You can steal Genji from many of his incarnations. Want to bet on that? Do your worst, Baldy. You can't even hold a birthday candle to the blazing flame of my winning spirit. Trial. Your grandfather was a pretty strong guy. Grandpa. And you, Ferris, try falling in love or something. You might learn a thing or two about yourself. Lena, you're always so caring towards animals. Never lose that pure heart of yours. And Ronnie, I wanted to fight you one more time. Mano a mano, of course. You have admirable companions. I envy you. Gilgamesh. Enough of this. Die. Snort, I believe that's my line. Self-destruct. Bye-bye, Gilgamesh. You will return in bit parts and other Final Fantasy games. No reward for the battle, though. Except for the save point. Alright, final fight time. Never did end up using my scrolls for throw. Belphegor. Let's see, are we going to have no combats here? Let's go ahead and set up then. Is there anything else I want to do besides... Spellblade. I really didn't get any other good things for him other than Zenny Nagi. I'll probably just stick with that. Cryo. Time Magic is kind of worn out its power at this point. Maybe we should go ahead and do White Magic. And really, same with Summon. Let's just go ahead and have them both be Master White Black Mages. Be a little bit more versatile. I could try Sloga or something with Time Magic, but really, I think I'm better off just as this is. You are too late. Wahaha! Finally, it is in my grasp, the greatest power ever known, that which can control the universe, the power of the Void! I will crush all who stand in my way. I think I'll begin with your precious friends. I hope you'll enjoy watching them get sucked into the void. And now you can actually, the hilarious thing is, after this scene starts, you can actually leave, like teleport out and go back to places, and everything that was sucked into the void in this cutscene is returned because your leaving the void caused time to reverse or something. Speedrunners will also take this opportunity to run back and save. Well, not really. In marathons, speedrunners will do that as a safety measure because they don't want to sit through the cutscene again if they die. They don't bother getting the save point in normal speedruns because it's a waste of time. You just go as is, but marathons, they usually like to do safety things. And yes, the void rifts are sucking up everything in the world now. Goodbye, Sid and Mid. Pirates and our chocobos and everything else that I've been kind of ignoring. Stop it! Let them go! Wahaha! Now you too will meet your end inside the void. 'Cause mine evil laugh is the best. I wonder if this was kind of an answer to the Mana series that had 2 installments at the point this was made. Seiken Densetsu, the original Final Fantasy adventure, and then Secret of Mana, of course, its sequel, had both come out. They had the Mana Tree that was holy and good, and they're like, let's do an evil tree for the next Final Fantasy. And we were sucked in the void. Ronnie, stand up! And here's the usual thing. This is the least cheesy / problematic thing in Final Fantasy V of out-of-nowhere stuff. Dad? Because, again, it's just like Final Fantasy IV. The spirits of everyone praying for you helps revive you right before the last battle. It's a common Final Fantasy thing. Zizat, Kelger. And Grandpa, Galuf. Enter the Dawn Warriors. Ronnie, Letta, Ferris, Kryl. We'll hold off the void. You kids take care of Exdeath. The only ones who can save the world from the power of darkness are the Warriors of Light. That's you. Now go. You know, they really should have given different colored boxes to the other 3 Dawn Warriors, even though they're never party members, just to help keep the mystery of who is joining your party in case this wasn't your first time playing, or this was your first time playing. What? Why is Power of the Void disappearing? No matter, now take this! And therefore Galuf doesn't look special compared to the others once they reunite in this scene. And finally, the 5th Ranger. Father, Papa! Now, this is it. Take your chance. Destroy Exdeath. Onward, Warriors of Light. And now you can run back and save if you want to. We're charging. Let's do it. Exdeath, you better get ready, because here we come. Alright, let's start with Flare. You just rapid fire as is. I gained about 2 levels from the time I did my big grind up to this point. It's really hard to grind up in this game if you're not intending to. There are spots that give good experience and stuff, but just regular fights running around, you don't really get a lot. Exdeath was engulfed by the void. No, why? The void was mine to command. Oh, usually I can skip through this, but not now. How could it? Grog. And now the very dangerous boss, Neo Exdeath. I am Neo Exdeath. All memories, dimensions, existence. All that is shall be returned to nothing. Then I too can disappear. Forever! We'll go ahead and use Stone Blade to kill one of the parts. If I can remember which one it is. Hopefully I do. I think it's the part located by the dragony head there. Break. Aroga. Okay damage. Let's see, so it should be this one. Nope, it's the lower one. Too bad. Well, the good news is I still have it, so... Buff up our hit points a bit. Ronnie was going to take damage in just a little, but whatever. I have plenty of elixirs too, so I don't need to worry about sparing the mana. Yep, there we are. The spell doesn't work because we have these things. Let's see. Good thing I'm used to the crappy memory of Pixel Remaster. Let's see, do we still need some... That should be close to getting us all maxed. I could increase my rapid fire damage a little by throwing on Flare again, but I think that at this point should be close enough to death that regular hits, even with the break, will do fine. That last one obviously has a lot of power, but... Two parts down. At least the auto battle keeps the memory of that. Don't really need the healing, but makes it easy enough at this point. So it looks like that's the last part left. Ooh, meteor. Let's do some extra healing. If it survives, it might not survive 2 hits from... Yeah, he's not full, so... This might be it. If not from this attack, the flare should finish it. No effect, because he's already dead? Yeah. But we just happened to come in at full HP. So Chrono Trigger is famous, of course, for the first being the first major RPG to have a bunch of significantly different endings and stuff. But Final Fantasy VI also has a few different endings, depending on who you recruit. But even before that, Final Fantasy V was the first Squaresoft RPG I know of to have multiple endings. There's not a huge change, though it's more really than Final Fantasy VI, since it just kind of shows the missing people and changes. If Terra isn't in your party, she comes in. But depending on who is alive and who is dead right at the final battle here changes how this ending goes. In the beginning there was only the void, but from the void came 4 essences. They formed the crystals and the world was born. Hope blessed the earth, courage blazed with flame, devotion turned water into the seeds of life, passion for knowledge spread wisdom on the winds. If ever the void threatens to engulf the world, so long as the 4 essences still exist in mankind, light will be born anew. It is from the void that the 4 essences will rise, and once again they will shine bright. So whoever is dead at this part will not have strength to escape the void. For Japanese RPG speedrunning purposes, they generally end on the end, because both Dragon Quest rather, and Final Fantasies were common to doing that, as well as a lot of others. So you have to sit through the credits, and it's all part of the timing. And because of that, a Japanese runner... The void is still here. But why? We beat Exdeath. But a Japanese runner went and calculated the endings, which was the shortest based on who was alive and dead. Is it because the crystals are all gone? Will the world be engulfed by the void? Will the world be engulfed? Oh my word, they didn't catch that typo. Overall, the dialogue has been pretty good in this translation, but they really blew that one. And now with the power of the void, the crystals will miraculously reform. Hope bless the earth. But having Ferris dead is actually the quickest. Courage, light the fires. For the Dragon Quest ones in particular, it was that was started because you often have inputs you have to do. You have to go talk to some people before the game finishes. It's a common thing for them. Devotion, breathe life into the waters. And pursuit, ride the wind. Spread knowledge on the winds, okay. Kind of understand the logic that they go for, but also at the same time, it feels silly that you have to optimize ending strategies and starting up the game strategies. Although by comparison, in Final Fantasy VI, because the power on does not start the speed run, there are certain tactics that you go through in order to skip having to sit through the intro phase after starting the game. Watching it preview before starting your run will skip it, which is a little weird, so, whatever. Anyway, the power of the void now is that no one is trying to use it destructively. It returns to its natural state, and the crystals reform. We totally beat Exdeath, so he is gone. The crystals are restored, so the world will no longer be dying. All the places come back from the void. The worlds have been merged again. It's like the happiest ending possible after what a wild and crazy ride we went through. It's just really crazy. Which is a nice way of tying up loose ends that for a little bit were mostly forgotten in the second half of the game. Like, Exdeath's threat became more important even though the world was literally, doomed forever. The world's being reborn. Did I accidentally? Yes, I did. I was looking at something on OBS. And the crystals as well. There's still power left in the crystal shards. Thank goodness. Lena, Ferris, Kryl, it's because you took such good care of the shards. You did a pretty good job yourself, Ronnie. Don't forget Grandpa. Now the wind will return to Tycoon. Correct, my dear. Dad, Grandpa, Father, Papa, Kilger, Zizat, the world still needs you. It's far too soon for you kids to be joining us. Go, return to your world, the one you saved. But despite this, if anyone's dead, they don't have the will to return and escape the void. And so, as we get into our What Are They Doing Now epilogue, going forward, that person, or those people, if there are multiple, are not addressed to talk about how they missed them, and then at the very, very end, they miraculously come back from the void anyway, so... It's pretty crazy to think of somebody going through and trying all the different combinations of who's dead or alive to figure out just which one was shortest. Because of that, they end up killing Ferris in the main speed run, and the reason that they do it with Ferris is specifically because of that the runners in English do it because they adapted a lot of the strats from the Japanese. And again, they had to route all of that in order to get the shortest ending possible. So when they figured out it was Ferris, they said, okay, Ferris will be Magic Knight and use Breakblade. Grandpa! On that one part, which is where I got the strategy from. Oh, it's Mid and Sid. A letter's arrived. Should have known because it didn't say anybody, so. Dear Sid and Mid, how are you? It's me, Kryle. Somehow we made it back alive. Like, and then they kill off the characters so that they don't waste time going into Magic Shell when their hit points are low, because they want everyone but the Knight to be at low hit points so he can protect everyone from the physical attacks. The final battle feels like it was just a bad dream. Since then, I've traveled all over. Everything seems so peaceful now, like it was before. Chancellor of Tycoon seems quite happy. Like, I'm a fan of Ferris's dress. Why doesn't Lena get a dress, too? She's still in her adventuring clothes. Of course, she doesn't like it, so she's going to change back into pirate and run away again. Because she's a free spirit, and Ferris seems worried about her pirate crew. Yep. Hopefully they're the pirates who don't do anything, though, because pirates are not good. Everyone in Ball is worried since they have no heir to the throne. Maybe I'll be queen. Yeah, in my dreams. It would be pretty cool, though. I mean, you are the heir to the throne. I mean, seriously, your grandfather was king. You're supposed to inherit that. Ronnie went back to his hometown. He's not giving up traveling, but he said he wanted to spend time near his parents before he set out again. And now, is he going to respond to the girl who's got a crush on him in his hometown, or is he going to try and woo one of the three princesses later? Oh, Boko and Choco had their chicks. Baby chocobos are the cutest. You simply must go see them. Wonderful little cute baby chocobo sprites. It's been a year since then. Lena and Ferris are busy running Tycoon, and Ronnie is off on another of his journeys. I think I'll go back to that place, to where Grandpa's resting. If any of the others happen to drop by, no, I'm sure they'll come. Tell them I can't wait to meet up again. Kryle, you did an outstanding job. You all did. I wonder if it's the shortest because it changes some of these flashback scenes. Because it didn't look like the whole Ferris situation was really all that long to need to be cut out. Yeah, I forgot to do this. Double check on Ferris and see how beautiful she looks in bed. Ronnie. Here. Ronnie's highlight is being a pervert. Lena's highlight is getting poisoned. Final Fantasy V, ladies and gentlemen. Also, besides being a pervert, it was when he almost killed the old man when he utterly failed to do anything to Exdeath. This is like a failure montage. Lena's other big contribution, being rejected by her sister. Which optional cutscene we did go see. Ferris's highlights, being dressed up as a proper princess. Saying goodbye to Sildra. I'd never thought about this before, but these are some of the most pathetic times, really. And being revealed as a woman. Kryle highlights. receiving whatever the heck this ring or circlet or whatever it's supposed to be that has her grandfather's essence and powers. Beating up Ronnie. Kryle gets the good highlights. Yep, and busting in to stop King Tycoon. Temporarily. But hey, it's a whole lot better than anybody else got. So the Great Forest of Moor is gone. This one little patch of trees is all that remains. With the Great Mother Tree, at least. Not much place for the forest to grow, though. There's a lot of ways in which the merged world kind of makes things better, definitely, but the poor Forest of Moor, which still had some trees left, even after it was all burned down when you look at it. If Grandpa hadn't saved me back then. Crystals have been restored and everything's peaceful, but for some reason I'm sad. Now I'm not controlling the dialogue anymore. It's on autopilot. I guess it's just that since Grandpa died, I've been all alone. You are not alone! Previewing Final Fantasy IX. Oh, and now the Galuf montage. Being summarily dismissed by his companions as he sees it. Though, I mean, again, what were they supposed to do? There's no way they saw him or anything. Jumping on the Windrake. Okay, that was not particularly erroneous. And finally sacrificing himself for Exdeath. So he only has one ridiculous scene. Although you could consider his death tragic as well. Kryle only has the one sad part of losing her grandpa, but it's when she inherits his powers, so that's a very more mixed one. See you, Grandpa. What are you talking about? You're not alone. We're here with you. Buck up, kiddo. Everyone's here. You all made it. Yeah, it's really big of her to be talking about being all alone when all of them have lost all their parents. As if there is any doubt. Like I'd forget about a friend after everything we went through. Everyone, you... They don't really give her time to express the fact that she's outrageously lonely. There's no need for tears, Kryle. This is the time to be strong. I mean, any more than any of the rest of the party. If Galuf were here, he'd laugh at your blubbering, kiddo. You're right. He's probably laughing right now. The crystals have regained their power. This time it's up to us to protect them. Like Dad and the others did. That dialogue box was missing its who said it. Say, do you hear that? This is the point at which the dead party members are resurrected. Grandpa's voice? And they're told, no, just the wind blowing through the trees, and that voice says, it's not time for you to join us yet, children. Or the rippling of water? Or the burning of fire? Crackling of a fire, okay. Descriptive sound. Or the shifting of the earth? You definitely don't want to hear the sound of the shifting of the earth. That only means earthquakes. Don't listen to that, or for that. No, I'm not sure what it is, but... Again, Final Fantasy V, tender moment, the final part of the metaphor falls flat on its face. I can hear it. Yes, it feels warm somehow. Because sure, you can hear it in the whisper of the wind, the rippling of the waters, or the babbling of a brook, whatever you want to say, crackling of a fire. They all make noise and they're supposed to. Earth is not supposed to make noise. The Earth is making noise. Things are very bad. And now we exit the forest that way, although we can't, and there's a mountain there, according to the map, to jump on our new chocobos. And Kryle gets a Windrake for some reason. Where this Windrake went, we don't know. It vanished when the worlds merged. But at least there's one Windrake left. Maybe somehow it was able to have a baby and make more Windrakes? We don't know, because they're pretty much extinct at this point on both worlds, apparently. But, you know, whatever. We saved the day. Great. Now is it going to do our battle stats for our characters? Pixel Remaster staff, etc. Not really going to give so much of a review of this because 5 isn't as dear to my heart as 6 was. So the Pixel Remaster doesn't quite mean as much to me. I do very much enjoy it. Probably the best way to play the game right now. Since, for us Westerners especially, since there are no real legitimate true SNES, English translated SNES cartridges of FF5. Fixes a lot of things. It has a few of the Pixel Remaster quirks that I saw in Final Fantasy VI, but it's kind of to be expected. But overall, it feels a lot more faithful to the original graphics than FF6 and 4 are. So it feels fine there, and it really spruces up the music nicely. Again, Final Fantasy V, I don't want to say I have a lot of problems with it, but just compared to the other Final Fantasies, especially at the time, it's one of my least favorite. Better than the first 3, probably, still. But just its overall goofiness, its music never felt as good to me. But the gameplay is a lot of fun, building up jobs, learning them, trying out different abilities and stuff. The reward of super grinding to master all those abilities. I very much held back only mastering the abilities that I did here. Now, of course, there's so many different ways to play with that. It's the reason we have 4-job Fiesta, which will be coming up next. I guess I should go ahead and check 4-job Fiesta and see what my new job is. Thief! Yay, I get to start with Thief, one of the worst classes. Along with White Mage, it's one of the worst starts you can get on a normal playthrough. In some ways, it's worse than doing a more chaotic one where the jobs are not locked to a particular crystal, so you can mix and match and stuff. So if you don't have a win job and you're stuck as freelancers, it's kind of better because you have better base abilities than Thief or White Mage does. You can use more stuff. So we're going to be dagger killing everything in the first section of the game. We will have access to Find Passages Run and Avoiding Surprise, which is nice, as well as Flee, which I'll be making a lot of use of, so I'm glad that I got my Brave Blade out of the way here. We'll have to see what else we get, but it's definitely going to be a pretty rough start. It does provide utility. It's kind of nice to have Thief if you're playing the original Super Nintendo version, because then you have a dash. I don't really need or care for the super fast dash, but whatever. Secret passages, again, not as important now with both the way the maps look, if you do it the way you can load up maps on the internet to look at really quickly. It's, again, a little bit helpful, but not really big. I don't know if I'll start that tomorrow or not, as I'm thinking about doing it on Fridays going forward. We'll see. But I might take a little bit of a break before starting my actual 4-job fiesta. And since I'm rambling about random stuff, I am slightly disappointed in the 4-job fiesta run. They went with the... they assigned the jobs to crystals, not in the one they belong to, but based on the number of votes, which actually made the run a little bit easier than it would have been otherwise, which may have been one of the reasons they decided to do it that way. I don't know. I don't remember them doing it this way in the past, but since Time Mage got the most votes, it was the first job, and White Mage got second, so it was the second job. So they couldn't equip White Mage until they got the Water Crystal, at which point Time Mage unlocked. And when they got the Wind Crystal, they couldn't put any jobs on because they didn't have Time Mage, and that was the only one quote-unquote available to them. But this allowed them, as I was saying, Freelancer is a little bit easier than White Mage because you're not restricted on weapons and really horrible attack powers, so you can at least fight with some offense against the first few bosses. So by the time it made the White Mage not nearly as bad as it otherwise would have been, because once they unlocked their jobs finally after getting the Water Crystal, they could get rods and just have the Time Mage get them through with rods, and so it was kind of like whatever. And then it doubled down because Dancer was the third most, and the Beastmaster, I think it was Beastmaster, or was it Geomancer? Anyway, yeah, it was Beastmaster, I think. That was the last job. So they didn't get jobs again until the Earth Crystal came, and then they got to pick and choose all their jobs as they liked. So it kind of ruined some of the challenge, and it goes against the spirit of it, where each crystal is supposed to give you a job. And I know, again, if you go with a chaos setting, that can happen. If you put in the requirements for that. I myself am doing a normal run because I like the feel of getting one per, but if you want the chance to get all Earth jobs or whatever, and you do a chaos run, all well and good. But when it turns out that there is one of each crystal, they really should have just stuck to that crystal. But that's my very personal garbage opinion, so whatever. I wonder if they eliminated the job sequence, though, because I thought that happened in the middle when they were doing the other weird montages. I didn't recognize that. Or maybe it's after this. Been so long, I can't quite remember, but it feels odd. And it feels really weird to have those after all of this regular stuff is done. Okay, music sounds like we're finally winding down here. One of the things I was most looking forward to in the ending was seeing to all fans across the globe, both past and present, to the crew who brought the originals to life, we offer a profound and heartfelt thanks. Nice. If they don't give me my rundown in the ending, that is... Okay, here it is. I have no idea what ability that was supposed to be. Was that an Elementalist Gaia? Focus, Gram, Steel, Mug, Minucci, Zeninage. I love having all those abilities. Gonna be a lot shorter after the one 32 out of 74 learned on her. I think Ferris is going to have the most. Just double attacking. $37 out of 74. Although there's all the night abilities on Bart, so maybe it'll be him. Because Spellblade actually just has levels. Same thing for her. Is that just the mind thing and Freelancers just attack? Hers is probably pretty low. 25, yep, she had probably had the least. $42 out of 74, so Ronnie had the most. Largely just because I was silly enough to put Knight on him, even though he never mastered... if I'd mastered Geomancer, that would have given me a couple more. Didn't quite get Dancer done with Lena. I mastered Bard with Galuf during the grind, so that's what pushed Kryl so much higher ahead of Lena for the casters. Since casters mostly just got repeats from their spells, and the spells take a long time to master, that's why they lag behind. But felt pretty good. Not a full grind the way I usually do, but was good enough. First time I've ever really used Mimes. I'd never really thought of the fact that getting access to 3 sets of magic would be that useful and powerful. But worked out. Anyway, it's probably just going to last here for eternity, because that's the way Final Fantasy things go. Thanks for watching. That's it for this run. Sometime in the near future, I'll start my 4-job fiesta. And we'll see what horrors await me there. Until later.